So welcome, everyone. I see about 50 people on already. This is our first Starr Informatics Summit. My name is Nigam. I'm the Informatics Core Director for our CTSA, a faculty member in medicine, and work closely with Priya, she's basically did most of the thing by herself, who you'll get to meet quite a bit, Priya Desai. And I'm delighted to introduce Michael Halaas, who is Deputy CIO for a unified IT organization called TDS, Technology and Digital Solutions. And he's kind of the leader who behind the scenes makes things happen so that researchers like myself and all of us on the call get to data. And I invite Michael to sort of share a few thoughts and welcoming notes for everybody, and then we'll get on with the day. Michael.
Great, thanks, Nigam, and welcome to everybody. It's great to see so many people joining for this first summit. I think we have a really exciting day, so I'm looking forward to it quite a bit. And you know, Starr, which is the focus of the day, really has matured into a tremendous ecosystem to fuel data-driven science. And the vision for it started, at least 5 years ago, more than that. And the goal really was to start to aggregate as much data as we possibly could from the health system into an environment where the data was aggregated, linked, and could be used by researchers very broadly in their research. So it goes well beyond the EMR, and you'll hear a lot about this. Most of you probably already know. There are hundreds of clinical systems in the health system, and we really want to get as much of the data that has research value that we can. Sorry, my cat. Into your hands so that it's usable. And it's really come quite a long way under the leadership of Nigam and Somali Datta and Priya and the team. And I think just from my perspective, we're really on the precipice of being able to take it even much further. I think, as many of you know, we did unify the information technology groups between the School of Medicine and Stanford Healthcare about 1.5 years ago. And we're starting to see the benefits of that really materialize. And we have technicians and engineers who work in the research domain, working very closely side by side with engineers and technologists who work on clinical systems, and are finding new ways to bridge those and bring the data together, but also importantly, to take innovations that happen in an academic research space and move them into production in the clinical ecosystem and in workflow. And that's actually one of our objectives, is to do more of that and put resources into that translation. So supporting not only innovation and discovery, but also translating that into production quality healthcare delivery. So you'll see more of that going forward. We're excited to take that journey with you. So I'll stop there and turn it back over to Priya and Nigam. But again, thanks for joining. Thanks to our presenters. And thanks to the team for organizing. I think it's going to be a great day.
Thank you, Michael. So for everyone who just joined us, it's pretty informal today. Feel free to use chat, either direct message me or to the panelists. And the goal here is twofold. One is to get people talking with each other. So you'll hopefully be able to see other attendees. I already see a couple of department chairs joining in, so welcome. And this is the first of a couple of series, a couple of such events. We'll hopefully do this summit annually. And the goal is to get everyone familiar with all of the research technology that exists. And I tend to think of research technology in two buckets. Think of technology that helps us access data that are in the 90 plus, 100 plus clinical systems in our hospitals and other care systems. And then in parallel, there are technologies we build in order to conduct clinical research in a safe, compliant manner. And there's like 25, 30 systems in that bucket as well. Now, naturally, we're not going to cover all of it today. This is a start. We're showcasing our data lake, which is the collection of the majority of data sources that we have in our clinical enterprises made available for research use, as Michael mentioned. And the backbone for that is this thing called Starr. And the URL for that is starr.stanford.edu, where you can go find out about more of these things. Somali Datta's team builds it. Priya Desai is a product manager in that team, and several other members of that team are here as well. And I would say, as an individual professor, as a faculty member, my research just would not happen if this team did not exist. We don't get to see them often enough. We don't get to chat with them. So that's kind of the intent of this day. And with that background, I'm going to actually welcome Priya on for just a bit so everyone knows who she is. And if possible, we can get Somali on as well. So you get to see the people who make these things happen. So there's Priya.
Hi, everyone. As Nigam mentioned, thanks for the intro, Nigam. I'm Priya Desai. I am the product manager and product owner for Starr. I'm also the Biomedical Informatics R&D lead at Research IT. And I'm super excited to welcome you for our very first summit, something I'm hoping will become an annual event going forward.
All right. And once again, for those of you just dialing in, if there are words we use like Starr, TDS, Research IT that don't make sense to you, feel free to chat, either direct message me, either on Slack if you find me, or on this one. We just underwent a reorg of our whole IT division about 1.5 years ago. So there's a lot of new acronyms to throw around, and we're happy to demystify that as well, because a lot of times knowing the right team is half of the job. All right. So other sort of housekeeping items. I believe chat is disabled for participants right now. It's only available to panelists.
Chat is enabled for all now.
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you. Given that this is informal, feel free to enter questions along the way. If you have a question you cannot or do not want to enter in the Q&A panel, feel free to send to me directly as a private message. I'll be monitoring it in the morning session, and then we'll sort of interrupt at the right time with the speaker and get that question in. Our goal is to not go through all the slides. The primary goal is to begin a conversation so that all of the good stuff that exists on our campus, supported by the Dean's Office, the Senior Associate Dean's Office, the CTSA, is in a form that all of you can start using, with our data lake as the backbone, which is kind of the main place I would want to park in your head. And I see Somali put in the URL for that. In general, if you want clinical data, go there first, is sort of the thing I'd leave you with. And I think with that, unless there's any other comments, Priya, we can actually get started.
Sure.
Okay, so it's a miracle that we're actually ahead of schedule. Isn't that awesome? So for some of you, you might be surprised. You'll miss George's first 5 minutes of your talk. So maybe I should keep chatting for a bit.
The preceding program is copyrighted by the Board of Trustees of the Leland Stanford Junior University. Please visit us at med.stanford.edu.